The story of Oleksandr Usyk is one of elegance, destruction, and a cold fury reserved only for those who dared to disrespect him. Throughout his career, time and again, arrogant opponentsmen, blinded by their egos, inflated by their fleeting moments of success, have walked into the ring thinking they could mock, taunt, and belittle him. But the truth is simple. Against Usyk, disrespect comes at a heavy cost. Tonight, we revisit the moments when the Ukrainian warrior destroyed those cocky rats who thought they could rattle him, only to find themselves brutally humbled. In 2018, Usyk found himself across the ring from Tony Bellew, a seasoned fighter who carried confidence like a badge of honor. Bellew had already enjoyed moments of success in his career, and perhaps that history made him bold, perhaps even reckless. As the fight approached, Bellew's words carried venom. "I'm going to beat him. I'm going to stop him. I'm going to break his arm.
I'm going to beat him. I'm going to stop him. I'm going to break his heart."
His arrogance didn't stop there. He looked into the cameras and claimed, "I have one thing he doesn't have: a punch that can switch the lights off in the blink of an eye." It was a statement meant to intimidate, a declaration that he had the kind of power Usyk couldn't withstand. But when the bell rang, arrogance quickly turned into a dangerous gamble. Bellew strutted into the fight brimming with swagger, smiling as if the stage belonged to him. Early exchanges saw him swinging confidently, taunting with every gesture, convinced that Usyk would crumble beneath his supposed knockout punch. For a moment, it seemed like Bellew believed his own story that he could defy the rhythm, silence the craft, and walk through Usyk with sheer brute force. But confidence without control always leads to downfall. Usyk studied him with the calm patience of a predator, each movement precise, each step deliberate. By the middle rounds, the Ukrainian began tightening the net. The angles grew sharper, the punches cleaner, and Bellew's smirk started to fade. The crowd could sense the momentum shifting. Then it happened like a bolt of lightning. Usyk landed a devastating left hand that ripped through Bellew's defenses. His head snapped back, his body crumbled, and the lights that Bellew had promised to switch off were his own. In a single moment, Usyk silenced every insult, every boast. Bellew had mocked him with words, but Usyk answered with something far more permanent, a brutal knockout that ended the fight and cemented his authority. But that wasn't the only time arrogance would dare to stand against him. In one of his later bouts, Usyk faced yet another opponent who decided to taunt the storm. This man, younger and brash, carried himself with the swagger of someone convinced that youth and strength alone were enough to dismantle greatness. "I'm younger, I'm stronger, I can't wait to put him to sleep," he boasted before stepping into the ring.
I'm younger, I'm stronger, I can't wait to put him to sleep on the night.
But words are cheap currency when the bell tolls. As the fight began, Usyk wasted no time. His punches tore through the guard of his opponent like blades through paper. Every strike was a message, every shot a reminder that arrogance had a price. With his trademark fluid movement, he danced around the ring, dissecting the so-called giant rat piece by piece. The crowd roared as Usyk's fists landed with surgical precision, each punch draining confidence from the man who once thought he could dominate. Then, as if to end the charade, Usyk unleashed a lightning-fast shot that detonated against his opponent's jaw. The body collapsed, lifeless, the fight ending in sudden silence. Usyk stood victorious, not only as a winner, but as the first three-time undisputed champion in history living. Testament that greatness doesn't respond to insults, it annihilates them. But perhaps the most personal and bitter confrontation came in 2017, when Usyk faced Marco Huck, a fighter whose arrogance knew no limits. Unlike others who mocked Usyk with bravado, Huck went beyond the bounds of competition, insulting not only Usyk himself but even bringing his family into the conflict. For Usyk, this was no longer just a fight, it was personal. He admitted openly that he had no love for Huck, a man he labeled the one opponent he truly despised.
"I love my opponents. Only one my opponents I don't love. The Marco Huck."
When fight night arrived, Usyk's eyes burned with purpose. From the opening bell, he attacked with unrelenting precision. Huck, realizing he was outclassed, resorted to the oldest trick in the book: dirty tactics. He tried holding, fouling, anything to disrupt the rhythm. But such cowardly maneuvers only stoked the flames of Usyk's fury. Every illegal move was answered with sharper counters, heavier blows. Soon, Huck found himself drowning under the weight of combinations he couldn't escape. Usyk pressed forward, hooks crashing from every angle, breaking down the German fighter's resistance. The punishment was so severe that the referee had no choice but to step in, saving Huck from a humiliating end. In that victory, Usyk didn't just win a bout, he restored his family's honor, proving that respect was not optional when facing him.
Shots underneath, Robert Bird has stepped in and he's waved it off.
Years later, as Usyk moved up to heavyweight, he encountered another figure of chaos, known for his wild antics, unpredictable behavior, and willingness to provoke anyone. Chisora carried the reputation of a madman inside and outside the ring. Before their 2020 clash, he promised to give Usyk the fright of his life.
31st of October, Alexander Usyk is gonna get the fright of his life.
Dismissing the Ukrainian's transition into the heavier division, but bravado has never been a shield against skill. When the bell rang, Usyk treated Chisora not like a threat but like a target. His punches rained down with pinpoint accuracy, slicing through Kaiser's defenses as if the man were nothing more than a practice dummy. The so-called war machine of Chisora looked like a stumbling figure in comparison to Usyk's grace. With each passing round, Usyk's dominance grew, his movement leaving Chisora swinging at shadows. By the end, there was no question who the true master was. Usyk had dismantled the clown and sent him back to the circus from which his antics had come.
Момент хороший был. И не терять концентрацию. Да.
Александр Усик.
Фух, отлегло прям отлегло.
Yet the pattern was not new. Even at the start of his professional career, Usyk faced men who thought arrogance could intimidate him. One such fighter was the experienced Caesar David Kren, a veteran who believed he could mow down the Ukrainian prospect like grass beneath a lawnmower. In the ring, Kren taunted, smirked, and attempted to belittle Usyk, but arrogance in the face of true talent is like spitting into the wind. It always comes back. Usyk, still early in his career but already radiating confidence, decided to toy with him at first, letting Kren believe his games had meaning. But then came the moment of reckoning. A brutal liver shot, thrown with surgical accuracy, detonated against Kren's body. His arrogance shattered instantly, pain spreading through him like fire. The fight was over. The lesson taught. Usyk had once again proven that disrespect was not tolerated in his world.
Акцентовані. Отличный удар, очень хлесткий, акцентированный по печени. Второй нокдаун.
Through these battles, Alexander Usyk has built a reputation not only as one of the most skilled boxers alive, but as a man who carries himself with dignity and punishes those who do not. His story is one of poise under pressure, of humility against arrogance, of quiet confidence against loud disrespect. Each time, the ending has been the same. Nakaki rats, blinded by their own egos, are crushed beneath the weight of his fists. And so, the legacy of Usyk continues to grow. A legacy not built on insults or theatrics, but on a simple truth. In the ring, respect is earned, and those who fail to give it are doomed to suffer. But what about you? Do you believe arrogance fuels fighters, or does it simply pave the way for their downfall? Which of Usyk's brutal lessons do you think was the most satisfying to watch? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow boxing fans, and subscribe to the channel for more stories of the sport's most dramatic moments.
Не понравились